Streaming now, this is River Bank Run Race Week, live from the Wood TV.
It looks like we're going to have a great day tomorrow, and super excited about it, and super excited you all are here today. Thank you. Before I get to the introductions of Greg and Christy and the elites, I want to take a few moments, if you don't mind, to thank some folks and give a few quick updates. First of all, super pleased about our corporate sponsors, of course, Amway. I'd also like to thank Fifth Third Bank and my predecessor, Mr. Stenstrom. They're involved again this year as the 25K sponsor. The bank employees on the committee, the Fifth Third Bank employees on the committee and the volunteer group that the Fifth Third Bank people bring in every year is fabulous, and we always appreciate their support. We're also excited, of course, that Spectrum Health continues to be our official health partner. You may have seen Dr. Axman and the Spectrum Health team at the practice races this year. They always do a great job, and of course we'll be busy helping out tomorrow. We're happy to announce Fox Honda has joined us again as the 10K sponsor. They will also be the official vehicle sponsor for this year's race. And the Power of 5K is again presented by Amway. Meyer will be returning as our post-race refreshment sponsor, and the team of Meyer have been a pleasure to work with as well. They see the importance, as we all do, of a healthy lifestyle. On the course, we'll continue disc jockeys to help motivate the runners to create that experience along the route, thanks to our entertainment sponsor, Soaring Eagle Casino. They're also helping us with Finish Fest so that you and the other runners can watch others cross the finish line while enjoying a Michelob Ultra or a Perrin beer, which is very important, right? Our charity partners, real quick, important piece of the race every year. We have 5 of them this year: Humane Society of West Michigan, the West Michigan Trails and Greenway Coalition, Hand to Hand Ministries, I Understand, and the ALS Association of Michigan, so support them if you can. Now, without further ado, we'll get to the meat of the press conference today. I'd like to introduce Greg Meyer, 7-time winner of the Amway River Bank Run and a winner of the Boston Marathon. Greg, we appreciate everything you do. Mr. Meyer.
You purposely let that microphone fall, didn't you? It's like, there it goes. It's actually great to be back in the spring again. What's it been? 3 years since we've been in the spring? So, and I'm sure you've seen that as athletes everywhere right now. So happy to be back out on the roads again. I'm excited for this year's race. We have some amazing, amazing talent here. And as I've been telling people going in, especially, no disrespect to the men, because you guys are going to have to run your butts off this year to try to catch them. Women's field is pretty stellar, which makes it a lot of fun. We did, by the way, shorten the time frame for the men to the women in the race within a race, because you kept winning by so much. Even when Parker sets an American record, he can't catch you. So we've had to shorten that down a little bit. So many of the athletes are here, and I thank you for coming. I'll ask only 3 men, 3 women to come up, and we'll ask some questions. But you will be available, and I'll tell to the media, you're available for interviews afterwards. There's some great people here in the room, but it just would take too long if we had everybody up. So I apologize for only selecting 3 of you. I'll start on the men's side. Last year he was 2nd place. In a great race. He's a sub 28-minute 10K guy. Futsum, come on up. Anywhere you want. You're the first one you choose. Next, he's an old friend that's returned, and the first time he was here was 16 years ago. Just a young whippersnapper out of Fresno, came in and set the American record. He's now back as a Masters, Fernando. who I might add, just went and talked to a local school here, a Spanish immersion school, San Juan Diego, and just had these kids in the palm of his hand this morning. So it was beautiful. Thank you. And finally, he's been missing for a couple of years, but we're happy to have him back again. The American record holder came here and just destroyed it back in 2019, and just happy to have him back. Parker Stimson. On the women's side, we started out with about 6 women under 230, but I think when they saw the field, they sort of whittled themselves off. It's like, oh, I don't know that I can do well here. But it's just an incredible field. One of those women that's here is Lindsay Flanagan, a 2:26 marathoner, which stellar, 109 for a half, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's just, if you know these things, it's like, yeah. And in fact, I had somebody tell me earlier, it's like, oh my God, it's like, thank God we have a different start, because they'd be passing me out there. She's a two-time she's a 2-time champion here. Just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in running. 2020 Olympian in the marathon. I believe when you won here, this was your first U.S. championship. So we have a special place in our heart for her. Elefine Tulema. He always smiles. And finally, sometimes you just get lucky with people. This person is now the new American record holder in the marathon, 2:19 and change, which just freakish. In the old days, that qualified for the men's Olympic trials. You know, that's how fast this is. She just also set the American 10-mile record in a women's only event. Just unbelievably happy to have her here, Kira Zambata. Now I'd like to ask Christy Van Haver to come up and introduce a couple of the wheelchair athletes. Yeah, you go.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Christy Van Haver. I'm a recreational therapist. We're going to get that figured out. Okay. Recreational therapist and sports coordinator with Mary Free Bed's Wheelchair and Adaptive Sports Department. Our Mary Free Bed Guild is proud to welcome nearly 40 wheelchair and hand cycle athletes this weekend to our race. Our athletes will be coming from US, Canada, and Spain. We're thrilled to have the borders back open and have our international racers coming back this year. Our guild has sponsored our wheelchair division for 32 years and our hand cycle division for 16 years. While our wheelchair racers are still traveling here, I do want to feature a few of them. James Zambata will be driving over from Chicago, Illinois. He was the overall winner for the wheelchair division in October, and he will be racing alongside his new coach, Santiago Sanz. Santi participated in our wheelchair race division for 12 years before he retired in 2014 to complete his PhD in sports science, research, and also coach, James being one of his students. He will take the start line along with James. We're excited to have him back racing. He's starting off his racing season with us here at the River Bank Run. Want to also highlight our female wheelchair athlete, Samantha. She'll be in the women's wheelchair division as she shoots for 1 hour and 33 minutes or less for her race time. Our featured hand cycle racers, we have Matt Tingley with us today. So if you'd like to come up, Matt. Matt is a competitive two-wheel biker. He sustained a spinal cord injury dirt bike riding in 2017. He's now a competitive hand cyclist chasing his dream of qualifying for Team USA Paralympics in paracycling. He's our new head coach for the Mary Free Bed hand cycling team, and he blends his knowledge of both cycling worlds beautifully. Matt was the overall winner of the hand cycle division in October and is back to defend his title. Also with us is Brim. Katie also sustained a spinal cord injury, and through her rehabilitation process with Mary Free Bed, she learned about Mary Free Bed wheelchair and adaptive sports. She's a competitive wheelchair rugby player, and September to March, if you want to see crazy, you want to see this girl down the rugby court. She's wicked fast, she's wicked crazy, and no one messes with her. We're talking hand cycling today. She was the overall female winner in October, and will be one to watch again this year as our divisions start hand cycling at 8:15 tomorrow morning and wheelchair division at 8:16. We're going to bring it back over to Greg and ask these athletes some questions.
I'm not going to ask you what you eat because I really don't care. You'd all be different anyway. I'd like to start with foot swim. You were second here last year. You seem to be running pretty well, setting most of your PRs within the last few months. What's your expectation for Saturday? Oh, I have to give you this because we're on a budget. We only have one.
Thank you. I'm just excited to go out there and compete, run really hard, obviously compete for the win. So, yeah.
Okay, so now I'll switch over to the women. Lindsay, tell us how your preparation has gone coming into this race and some of your expectations for tomorrow.
I ran a marathon back in April and came off of that one pretty well, and have another marathon in July, so this fell perfectly kind of in the build-up. And last year I ran this race, I think it was 10 days after Chicago Marathon, so hopefully I feel a little fresher this time. Training's been going well, and yeah, I'm excited to see the new course backwards.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the course, but in the old days, that's how you ran the course. So we're going back to the beginnings, and I think most of you will find it an easier course than the one that you used to run. I know a few of you have been here before, so we can talk about that later. Next, I want to throw it to Fernando. You've been gone for 10 years.
6 years, I just...
So, well, yeah, but you didn't do much 6 years ago. So, but before that, you were killing it. So, are you fit?
As fit as a 40-year-old could be. No, I'm just honored just to be here, just amongst you guys, just being, I didn't think this would happen, like me running at an elite level at all. But yeah, I just somehow got fit again. When you're 34, 35, 36, it starts slipping away. You're not really as relevant now that I'm in the Masters division. There's records, some open, some categories and stuff like that, and championships. It's obviously it draws me, and so yeah, just here to do the best I can and try to for sure be competitive amongst everybody else and honor my fellow competitors, and try to race them and stuff and beat them. And I wish I was, 5, 6, 7 years younger, but hey, I'm gonna do what I can and stuff like that. So, yeah.
I have to tell one story about him. So when he won here, 16 years ago, it was before the U.S. Championships, I believe, and he was racing one of the Kenyans, and they were probably like 2-3 miles to go, and you were just breaking away from the pack, I think. And I remember him telling us that he looked over at him and he goes, "It's go time." And he just took off on him. And it was like, that was the race right there. And I mean, it's like, it's one thing to make a move, it's another to tell the guy, hey, we're going now. So, do that again. All right, Alephine. A lot's changed since you've been here before. Obviously we talked about this was the first U.S. championship you ever earned when you became a citizen. Now, so many years, not that many years later, you're a mom and an Olympian. How are things going now? How's your training?
I'm just gonna have to go off everything else. Hi everyone. Unlike what Greg said, I've actually won here 3 times. Yeah.
That was my fault.
Just had to put that straight. No, it's been great. You know, this was my first race as an American. It was actually my second race, but my first U.S. championship race, and I was so excited. That was back in 2016 when I finished and I had that American flag draped on me. It still makes me emotional, and it meant a lot to me. And I came back the following year, and then I came back, I believe, in 2018. Sorry, when you become a mom, you become soft. I used to be tough, but now I'm super soft. Went on to win the Olympic trials in the marathon in 2020, and became a mom after that. You know, when all the pandemic stuff was happening, I became a genius, and I decided it was time to become a mom. And this is my first real race, my second real race back after being a mom, because I ran the Pittsburgh Half Marathon a couple weeks ago. I'm really excited to come back home. And another backstory was that when I first turned pro, my first race was actually in Flint, Michigan. So I really feel like Michigan has done really good for me, and I'm excited to be back. And I get to race some of the best competitors, you know, America has. In 2020, I ran against Lindsay in Houston Half Marathon, and the last mile she flew by me, and I'm like, Lindsay, come on, wait up. She didn't care. And then Kara over here, I'm like, what are you doing here now? The American record holder, so I think it's gonna be a super exciting race. I'm just happy to be back. And just before I hand off the microphone, Parker over there was trash talking a little bit earlier about how much time we have, and then Greg submits to his request, and now the time is shorter for race within a race. I don't even, I feel like everybody's ganging up against us, but it's gonna be fun.
You opened the door, Parker. We've missed you for a couple of years because you went off and did some other things, plus you've had some injuries to overcome. Tell us how that's gone and what you're looking for Saturday.
Well, first, I don't think the time gap's going to matter this year. I think the ladies are going to be running quite a bit faster than us.
But you need for more time?
No, I appreciate it, but I don't think it's going to matter. Yeah, so 2019 was a really special year for me at the 25K, and then I also went and ran a really good marathon in Chicago. And then like Greg said, yeah, the last 3 years, it's gone by fast, have been really tough for me. COVID was hard, and then I got knee surgery, and you know, they say they're gonna fix it, but I think I've had so many problems since I had knee surgery in my knee still. But training's gone great, even for the last year. I haven't quite had the races that I've hoped to have, but you just keep your head down when training's going well and hope the next one goes well. And I was thinking back in 2019, and you know, I hadn't had really good races before breaking the record either, and I think every race just got me more frustrated and more upset, and it just kept building to the 25K. And so I kind of feel similar in that way right now too. I've been training well and really want to get back to a big race. So this place has always been magical for me in 2017, 2019, and yeah, hope to keep that going this year.
It is kind of interesting for the people that have been here before, like Alafine, we talked earlier this week, and when you called to talk, it's like, is the new course faster? That's all they care about. Is it faster? Matt, the transition from mountain biking to being a hand cyclist, how did you manage through that process of transition?
That's a good one. You know, mountain biking was just such a fun thing, and when I first got on a hand cycle, like it wasn't fun at all. I hated it, but you know, you just eventually build up your fitness, and like what was in my legs went up into my arms, and yeah, and now here I am in a press conference.
Katie, how did you get into hand cycling? What led you to this?
So I actually, within the wheelchair sports industry, I started really recreationally. I was very fortunate in that my rehab after my injury was at Mary Free Bed. And so I was introduced pretty immediately to what's possible. So I had started out with wheelchair rugby, and that was where I met Christy Van Haver and Nick Long, and within that, that's when I got introduced to hand cycling. I first also, with the hand cycling, started just very recreationally, doing it for enjoyment, just to get the heart pumping. And within that then turned into this past year where I started dipping into the racing, and it's kind of took off from there. I've really enjoyed seeing the growth that I've had in the last year and look forward to what's to come in the future, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just ask one question to the whole group, and we'll start at the right and work our way down. It's going to be warm tomorrow. What are you going to do?
Same thing I always do. I love the heat.
Good answer.
Yeah. No, I was in Indy for about a week after running the half marathon, so I do feel like that should help when it comes to tomorrow. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to really focus and worry about time. Just want to, break into the top 10 and run amongst everyone and have fun, really. So just race and not put any extra stress on myself with time.
Yeah, I used to worry about that stuff a lot and try to do heat acclimation and do things like that. But now I just, hope to be really fit. And then if you're really fit, you can deal with those things easier than if you're not. So just going to rely on fitness. And then also, I was born in Texas, so hoping that helps me out.
I have been doing a bit of heat acclimation just this last week. It's unfortunately being here in Michigan, we've been dealing with a lot of cold, and all my training has been in my garage or on the road, so the temperatures that it is outside is the temperatures that I'm dealing with. And just due to my ability not to sweat as well, heat is a major factor for me, so I'll have good hydration support on me and also any of the gels that I may need, and just looking forward to having a good time.
I live in Richmond, Virginia, which is very, very humid and usually gets pretty similar climate to here, so I'm hoping that will translate well. And then I also just preload a lot, so a lot of electrolytes and just hydrating really well today.
Hold on a second. I totally blanked. I missed you when I came back the other way. God, that's why you shouldn't let me do this. Kira D'Amato, obviously, you just broke the American record in the marathon, 2:19:12. Yeah. Wait, you couldn't get 12 more seconds? No. And you set the American record. But you were out of running for almost 10 years. How'd you get back to this stage?
I think Fernando and I were on the same training plan. You got to take a little break. I took the scenic route. I took a really elaborate halftime show. But I came back to running not for this, not to be fast, but because I needed it in my life. And with two young kids, I just wanted something for me a little bit. And, I kind of overcame feeling guilty about that. And then it turned into this along the way. But it was first just trying to run a whole 5K and then run a whole marathon without walking. And spoiler alert, that did not work on my first marathon, but I've come a long way. And actually, Alfine, I was in the Houston race with you both in the half marathon, and you both kicked my butt. So this is a comeback tour here. But yeah, I came back into running just because I love it, and I've been kind of following my heart with what makes me happy, and it's led to some really beautiful things.
Now you continue with the letter.
We are in trouble tomorrow. It's payback. Anyway, I think when you have such a good field like we do with these two, and Sarah and the rest of the women's team, you just have to tuck in and not worry about the weather.
Yeah, I think, we're all running in the same conditions, and it is a championship race, so, anything can happen, and I think we're going to have some bottle support out there, so I'm definitely going to use that.
Okay, last question. Prediction on the time differential between men and women. How much are you going to beat them by?
Trying to think what it was last year. I'm going to go 6.5 minutes.
No, win by.
Wait, us beat the men by? Oh, I think we'll beat that. Yeah, I think by like 6. I think 6.5. I think we have like a 5.5 minutes time, right? Oh, never mind. Maybe 12 minutes then. Yes. Oh, yeah. We're gonna run faster.
No. We're going to start behind you to catch you. How close do you think they'll come to catching you?
I do. I know. I think I'll get them by at least half mile. I think so.
Couple of minutes.
I would say, within 30 seconds to 1 minute, if we are lucky enough.
I think it's going to come down to a sprint to the finish, and us ladies are going to have to go into sport mode and kick these fellas' butts. That's my prediction.
You guys don't have a good history of beating them, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think they'll be out front and doing their thing, and it'll be hard for us to catch them. I don't know if have we ever done it on the men's side?
I think once.
Okay. And how many years? Christo did it?
Christo, when was it?
2016 maybe?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's gonna keep happening, especially with their field. They're gonna get rolling. So.
Yeah, whatever.
They all pled the fifth.
They all pled they don't want to anger the women. Smart move. Anyway, they'll all be available for questions. So I think, who am I supposed to turn it over to now? You, David?
No.
Oh, the officials.
Okay.
We're okay?
Yeah, we're all good.
She'll talk later. I just do what I'm told. So anyway, thank you for coming. And if you have questions of any of these athletes, please grab them, and they're available for you. Thank you.